So before we continue into the video, a quick shout out to today's video sponsor, JerseyFIFA.com, the home of all of the greatest football kits. Whether that be the new latest releases or the old classic ones like this, Jersey FIFA has something for everyone, and now you can check it out yourself using the link in the description down below. And also make sure to use code JerseyFIFA for 10% off when you order. Hey guys, welcome back to the AJ Analysis channel. I hope you guys are all well and good and have got off to a good start for the weekend. And I was just thinking, what is the best way to start the weekend? Well, surely it's talking about Andre Onana and breaking down his first appearance for Manchester United. The other week we done the same thing for Mason Mount and the video got a good reception. We done something similar for Kobe Minu last week, so I thought we would do the same for Onana because I was impressed with his debut. So what we're going to do is we're going to talk about kind of the tactical side of things, how it affects things moving forward, some things we saw during the game, and also some of his stats from the game as well. And also, I mean, while you're here, you might as well subscribe. We're trying to hit 16k. We might have hit it. Hopefully we hit it by the time this got uploaded. But let's just keep pushing forward. The support recently has been absolutely incredible. Let's get into it. How well did Andre Onana play and what did he do well? Well, if we look at the stats, it's quite clear what he done very, very well indeed. Accurate passing. 39 out of 41 passes in this game, like a pass completion rate of 95%, 51 touches, and 4 out of 5 long passes completed. This is exactly what we were expecting from Andre Onana. However, what I thought perhaps was more interesting was the knock-on effect that it had on other players. We all knew that Onana was going to come in and bring really, good passing ability quite clearly. But it was the effect it had on other people which I thought was the most important thing. However, unfortunately we do need to start off with a bit of a negative which came just a few minutes into the game where, in my opinion, Onana does get it wrong for the first goal. Now, there's a hint of offside in the build-up to this, so maybe the goal shouldn't count, so maybe we should kind of overlook it. However, for me, Andre Onana comes rushing out here and gets caught in no man's land a little bit. And this is something which I did warn about when I was talking about him earlier in the summer. I said that he's a very good goalkeeper on the ball, and he is a confident sweeping player. However, at times he does get it a little bit wrong, and he's in no man's land. And for me, that's what happens here. I just don't think he needs to come out. There's enough Manchester United defenders in and around the ball. Lisandro Martinez in particular can really heavily affect what Jude Bellingham is going to do on the ball. I don't think Onana needs to be out here. And for me, it's a mistake. It is a mistake, which is a sad start to his career. For me, he makes Bellingham's decision for him. If it had stayed back, Bellingham has a decision to make. Do I take the early shot? How can I beat the defender? Whatever. I thought Onana made things quite easy for him. However, that's the negative out the way. That was not a good thing to see. Hopefully we can put that down to rustiness and hopefully he'll improve moving forward. However, time to look at some of the good stuff. And most of that came on the ball, and that's really my focus today. Now the first thing I want to quickly point out is the new structure it allowed Manchester United to play with. We can see it here. Lisandro Martinez, I'm kind of putting my mouse around him here, moving into midfield alongside Casemiro, whilst Rafael Varane and Onana played alongside each other. This is a really good build-up structure. I spoke about it before he signed for the club. This is brilliant. If Manchester United are going to do this moving forward, then this is a big, big bonus. But if you want to kind of see this more in depth, me speaking about it in a bit more detail, go check out the match video from the other day. I'm not going to focus on it today though because I have already covered it a couple of times, but go watch those videos if you want to see kind of the effect that this has. Now that was just one of the build-up structures which Onana allowed Manchester United to play with. The other was a 2-3, or it's almost a 3-3, because Onana is playing between the two centre-backs, allowing them to split much wider, creating a bigger pitch for Manchester United. And of course, when you're in possession, you want to make the pitch as big as possible. Having someone like Onana who can step forward between the centre-backs does this very, very well. And as a result, 9 times out of 10, Manchester United played out from the back really well in this game. Were Real Madrid exactly pressuring them? Not entirely. This wasn't an intense press. We will see more intense presses in the Premier League this season. However, again, the structure which United are trying to use is quite interesting. And again, by having Onana, this is a big, big plus. David De Gea would not be in these positions. Not in that last system we looked at a minute ago, or in this system either. He simply wouldn't. People cannot argue that. If you are arguing that, you are blind to football, basically. This is what Onana will bring to the team, the ability to use a different structure. But even this isn't exactly what I want to focus on. What I want to focus on more is, again, the knock-on effect it has on other players. Now here we can see the effect it has in terms of positioning. We saw earlier Lisandro Martinez moved into midfield, and here the centre-backs have split wider. However, it's more about the decisions that the players make on the ball, knowing that they have Onana in goal and the potential that he gives the team. Now, the main focus on this is in terms of being a passing option. Now, Bruno Fernandes, who is right by my side here, is clearly being put under pressure and being tackled. Now, in this situation, the best solution is for him to go back to the goalkeeper. However, last season, Manchester United players didn't do this because they didn't have faith in David De Gea. And we saw a lot of situations where United players would lose the ball in this position. However, that wasn't the case because Onana was back as a passing option. But importantly, he wasn't back on his goal line as a passing option. We can see here, he's coming forward towards the ball. And you'll kind of see these three Real Madrid players at the bottom just give up. They decide it's gone to Onana, it's not really worth pressuring. But what this allows United to do is get the ball to Onana, who then quickly moves the ball to the other side. So you've gone from a situation down the right-hand side to go back to it here, where it looks like Bruno Fernandes could lose the ball and you're in a bit of trouble, but that isn't the case. The ball gets moved on to Onana, who moves the ball to the left-hand side. The ball is moved to the left-hand side, and now instead of being in trouble, United have the potential to move the ball forward. And that is something which Onana done very well, and there's loads of examples of this. We've got another one here. Luke Shaw is being put under pressure quite clearly by the Real Madrid man here. The fear is that if he loses the ball, he's in a lot of trouble because the rest of the Manchester United players are really high up the pitch. Again, last season, United would often put this out for a throw-in because they didn't want to go back to De Gea. However, by having Onana in goal, the Manchester United players were confident and comfortable moving the ball back to him. We can see again Real Madrid therefore don't really bother pressing, and Onana recycles the ball. So instead of losing the ball in the left back area or putting the ball up for a throw-in, United trust that they can go back to Onana, who quickly and efficiently moves the ball to another player. That is the difference he will bring. This therefore increases Manchester United's ability to dominate and have more possession of the football. If Luke Shaw had put this ball up for a throw-in, it would have been Real Madrid's ball. Instead, because of having faith in Onana and his ability, United are able to keep possession. And like I said, this just kept happening during the game, time and time again. Again, we got it here. Rafael Varane is under pressure. Rodrigo's putting him under pressure. Again, this is a situation where perhaps last season, Rafael Varane would have had to deal with this alone and maybe try and turn Rodrigo and go the other way or something like that. But it wasn't the case because Onana came rushing out to provide a passing option, which is really important. It allows Rafael Varane to play a really easy pass to Onana. And again, he's not doing anything particularly complex on the ball. He's just moving the ball somewhere else. However, again, you've taken a potentially risky or dangerous situation, and just the presence of Onana alone has allowed United to keep the ball and move into a possession phase themselves. And again, this just kept happening throughout the game. Here we've got Luke Shaw under a bit of pressure, not so much on this occasion, but again, he's happy to go back to Onana. This allows United to open up a different passing option, a different passing angle. So a slight pressure on the left-hand side where you could lose the ball, but no, you go backwards to Onana, who switches it out to the right-hand side to Aaron Wan-Bissaka. And now United have bypassed the Real Madrid defence. They've moved them out of position, kind of drawn them over to one side of the pitch, and then moved the ball to the other side. It's really effective play. And again, it comes because of Onana's ability in goal. And then we've got one more situation here, where Rafael Varane has the ball, and this time the press is a bit more intense. And typically, again last season, Varane would have had to deal with this alone, because we can see Lisandro Martinez is not a passing option, because the passing angle has been cut. So normally, Varane would get swarmed here. He's either got to boot it out for a throw-in or try and turn the player, whatever. But not with Onana in goal. You can just go backwards, and Onana gets the ball, is comfortable on the ball, and then plays the ball into midfield to Lisandro Martinez. And now this player for Real Madrid is taken out of the game. So again, by having Onana, someone who is comfortable receiving the ball backwards, but also the players are confident passing to him, it allows United to turn situations where they might lose the ball or put the ball up for a throw-in, risky situations, into situations where they instead have sustained possession. Now, something else which allows this to happen is Onana's movement, because once he's passed the football, he isn't someone who admires his pass, his work isn't done. He's very keen to then quickly get into a new position to receive the ball. Not something we talk too much about goalkeepers with, especially at Manchester United. However, here he plays the ball to Luke Shaw, but rather than just standing there, he's going to sprint to his left-hand side to make sure he creates a new pass and angle. We can see it play out here. He plays the pass out to Luke Shaw, but then instantly sprints into this new position, getting himself ready to receive the next pass. Now, on this occasion, Luke Shaw doesn't pass to him, but what it does do is it opens up options for Luke Shaw on the ball. So Onana doesn't get the ball here, but just by having the choice for Luke Shaw, it makes things more difficult for Real Madrid to defend against. So again, this is Manchester United doing very well because Onana is in goal. And then also, one more thing in terms of this department, we have it here. Onana's ability to not only kind of pass and play the ball out from the back, but also his ability to absorb the pressure. Now, what is the benefit of absorbing pressure? Let's quickly go to a tactics board because we haven't used it yet. So let's have a look at it here. Let's say Onana has the ball here. If Onana plays the ball in a rush and wants to play to the two centre-backs, Long story short, he can't really. Let's say the opposition have kind of marked up in the middle of the park, and maybe the fullbacks are marked as well, something like this. So if Onana wants to play the ball, he can't because all of his players are marked. He doesn't have a free pass. However, if you take your time on the ball and kind of stand on the ball, something we saw Brighton doing really well last season, La Pausa, kind of taking your time on the ball to draw pressure, then it frees up someone else. So how does that work? For example, if I rush this, there's no passing option. However, if I stand on the ball, eventually one of these players has to come out. He has to. He can't just let me stand there on the ball all day. So eventually this player has to come and press you. This is when just quite a simple rolled pass into that area and a bit of movement from the centre-back allows you to play out from the back. And this was very much something we saw during the game, and this is what really impressed me. So we can see the ball going back here. Real Madrid have used this as a pressing trigger. The ball is going to go back to Onana, and the forward is going to absolutely sprint at him, really put him under pressure to try and tackle him. It doesn't really faze Onana though, because what does Onana do? He literally puts his foot on the ball, he takes his time, he chills, and we can see the movement of the defender in the middle here. Onana's going to play it to him, and again, United have taken a potentially tricky situation or a dangerous situation and turned it into one where they can now move the ball into midfield, turn and play the ball forward. Again, it's very, very effective stuff, and we've got another situation here looking exactly the same. We can see here, the ball is going to go back to Onana. Real Madrid are going to use this as the pressing trigger. It's almost the exact same situation. The ball goes back. Once again, Onana puts his foot on the ball. This draws the Real Madrid player in. Look at the distance the Real Madrid player is at this moment in time, and then the next shot, look how much closer he is. He's been drawn in by Onana taking his time on the ball and absorbing the pressure. But now look how much room Lindelof has as a consequence. So Lindelof receives the ball and once again can turn and play the ball forward. And that is all because of Onana's ability on the ball. We may not have seen anything groundbreaking in terms of his passing in this game, but it was just his availability, his willingness to receive the ball backwards, take his time on the ball and then move it to someone else, really allowed United to absorb pressure from Real Madrid, which opened up spaces in other places. And also, just as a bit of a bonus, we do have to watch this clip because this clip is beautiful. I'm just going to let it play out. Look at that, a lovely bit of skill. It's nothing particularly tactical, I don't need to break it down. Just a little skill there. He does the forward and then plays the ball forward with a really good pass. Nothing tactical to break down on that, I just enjoyed the clip. But you can see what he was bringing to this team on the ball. There will be more examples of it moving forward. He'll do more impressive stuff as the season goes on. And there'll also be situations where he makes mistakes on the ball and won't get it so right. But I think what we saw in this game, if you were really paying attention and really watching it with a tactical eye and watching it properly, you would have seen how good Onana was. I've seen people saying it weren't a great debut, blah, blah, blah. Yes, the goal conceded, in my opinion, was a poor one. He made a mistake. But you can see the net positive that he is going to have on the team this season. Because we didn't look at every touch he had in this game just there. We just looked at a few of them. But even there was 10 situations where United were maybe in an area where typically they would lose the ball, either trying to turn the man or putting the ball up for a throw-in, because they can't play the ball backwards with someone like David De Gea in goal. With Onana being there, willing to receive the ball, making the passing angle, but then also taking his time on the ball, it allowed United to change situations where they would normally lose possession into situations where they're really gaining and benefiting in possession. That is the big difference that Onana will make. That's the exact reason why I was so excited about him coming into the team, and hopefully now you guys have got some evidence. I said the other week, this is one of the most important and biggest transfers that anyone in the world will make this summer, and I do stand by that. Hopefully now you guys understand why a little bit more. We've got a little bit more context and more examples. I think in terms of for today's video, that is where we are going to leave it, because I have spoke about Onana quite a lot over the past month or so since he's been linked to the club. So I think we're going to leave it there. Like I said, hopefully you guys have a greater understanding now. If you have any more questions, especially in terms of in possession, then let me know in the comments down below. But apart from that, thank you guys for watching. I hope you have enjoyed it. And as always, I'll see you in the next one.